Hello everyone and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Well, the stage is set. It's now time to find out who the real culprit is. Oh boy. Here we go. Let's not waste any time at all. Bottle water at the ready. Ooh, here we go. Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy. We're leaving. Daryan, wait! I never liked you. Either of you. Huh? Darn it! We were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Machi had to say. And I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. Eek! What was that? He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? Valant Grammarier. Using oh sorry. Valant Grammarier. Using the door like an average muggle, no less. You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valant? Ah, a preposterous proposition. How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets will be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day. Ooh, with vanishing magic? Indeed. I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? A Grammarier glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. Glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell. And there he goes. He sure seemed happy about that illusion thing. Oh, a big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusions is always a spectacle to remember. Usually it involves yeah, that's a lot she had to say. I did not press anything. Truly, I did not. So he was talking about what we saw at the concert. Lami's disappearing act, and Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by it being the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? Excuse me, sir. Yes? The scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request. Some urgent personal business. Great. I bet he stayed up too late last night, watching courtroom dramas. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. The hospital? Oh, I don't know why I spoke like the bailiff. I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently, his condition worsened considerably this morning. The Chief Justice's son. Oh, that's right. Remember, yes, yesterday morning, the judge said, the judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. There's an article about it in the paper. If you care to read about it yourself. A terminal illness. Yeah, when I first played this game, I couldn't put two and two together, but I think I know the reason. Incuritis. Where have I heard that before? So the article says Incuritis syndrome, first case in country. I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave a TV guide page to me. Try not to lose the other page with the funnies if you can. But yeah, hold on a second. Let's check that court record again. Let's switch screens. Alright, let's see. Article about the chief's son who is inflicted with incuritis. Incuritis syndrome, first case in country. Let me see. Article about the case. It doesn't mention the lyrics of the ballad. Okay, a replica of a cocoon from which a remedy of incuritis may be extracted. Was this really supposed was this the reason why this thing got smuggled into the country to help someone? And by that I mean the Chief Justice's son? Back then, when I first played this game, I legitimately had no idea. I mean, though it has been a long time since I played this game. But anyways, let's head towards the court. My apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of how do you say this name again? Machito Bay, our suspect of Fortissimo. Right, it's his trial. In any case, smack you upside the head. It's easy to pronounce Machi and Tobey. Anyways, or unless in the Japanese version, the name was kind of different. I'm not quite sure. The defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor? No. Well, yes. It's just I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time. Incuritis, was it? That article said there's no known cure. Judge, let me say with all honesty, I feel your pain, but now is not of a time for tears. Now is of a time for law. Indeed, we left off at quite the juncture yesterday. I asked Interpol about that number, IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Lataus. So thanks for looking into to that for us, Crescent. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Excuse me. Wait! Yeah, I knew she was going to say that because we saw this little flashback in the last video. Anyways, that voice just now, it was him. I am sure of it. It was him? That voice I heard, talking to the house when I heard the other gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Daryan. No way! Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Daryan would guest star in the season cliffhanger as a suspect? I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings. Daryan Crescent is a member of my band, the Gavineers. He is also a detective making the current charges series Indeed. Yet after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware, Air Forehead? He has an impeccable alibi. An alibi? Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Gavineers ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The other performers appearing were myself, Lami, and of course Machi, along with the bassist and all the blah blah blah. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Lami and the defendant, Machi Tobey, had left the stage at that point. And the Gavineers were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you. Oop. And Apollo. You heard them too, right? I sure did. Furthermore, Lami herself witnessed the moment of the crime. I'm sorry if you're hearing some noise here. That's just I'm just turning off the light. Anyways, well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime. When she claims to have heard the Taos and Crescent talking, but that's impossible. Detective Crescent was precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage getting its groove on, no less. Voila! A perfect alibi. Does the defense have anything to add to this? It's true, when I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Daryan Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged. Which means that Lami was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true. Very well. Of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections, Apollo, if he declares a verdict now, but Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lami might have been lying to protect Machi. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center? About the case? What about the case? He wants to tell us about Lauthaus's death. This meeting's over. Daryan. Machi was trying to tell us something. I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him under oath. Very well. The court finds the defendant, what was his name again? Your Honor. No, that wasn't it. It was something Marquise or Mr. Justice. Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I'd like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls Machito Bay to the stand. What? But he doesn't speak English. We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases, such as I love you and where is the toilet? The defense would like to request Lami as the interpreter. Lami? But there's a possibility she's protecting the other defendant. But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie? That is most unusual. Bravo, Air Forehead. Air Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lami lies, I'll be able to tell. Even if my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that. Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for a refusal. Finally, some progress. Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lami to the witness stand. I suppose there is a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with, if you would, Lami. Yes. He says, Machito Bay, the defendant. This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really needed an interpretation of that message in particular. So far, so good. Very well. Mr. Justice, if you would. Huh? If I would what, Your Honor? Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him to testify about? What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet. Apollo, aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying? Excuse me a moment, if I might speak. Yes, Lami? Just now, Machi said there is something about which he wishes to testify. Machi wants to testify about something. What could it be? What sort of testimony is he talking about? One moment, please. The suspense is killing me. What? What? Well, Lami? According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence. What? This is a surprise. Yahoo! Victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means. Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Machi, please testify to the court. Very well. Alright, here we go. Proof of innocence. Here we go. He says that that word of that word of Lataus is dead came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, that is, he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are done in English, he does not understand them. Something he says he can't read English, huh? We'll see about that. I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely. I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lami to know the meaning of that song. Lami, did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him, generally, what was the song about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked. Has my repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lami might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would. Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony. I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday, it'll work today. Alright, so the part where he says that the lyrics are in English, he doesn't understand them. Yeah. Let's see. Something's not right with that. For the record, there isn't going to be no pressing or presenting yet, so... Brace the time to perceive. Switch! Alright, where can I find the, Let's hear it again. Has to be something. Where are you? Whoa, wait a minute, what in the world? That's weird. Okay, R in English. Okay. Looks like we found it. I forgot how weird these nervous habits can be. Well, some of them, but when I did this one, oh my, what was it? Really weird. And trust me, it's gonna get even a bit weirder come last episode. Alright, so we found the area, so we just gotta wait until the movement begins. Let's see. There it is. Are in English. Perceive and confirm. Gotcha. Switch. Machi, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Lami said the word English. Why? And don't bother in interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell of the truth. You can understand English, can't you? What are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue this charade? Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language. That is all. What? Give me a break. Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you know? Do you not know? Excuse me. Do you not know español for instance? Do you not know español for instance? Well, yeah, but I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires explanation. He read about it in the newspaper. The newspaper? The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days. You know? They have already begun to report this case to our homeland. Well, in our homeland. I was right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes. They are quite fierce all of a sudden. Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. Okay, so he said the song, or in this case, the lyrics were mentioned in the Borginian newspaper. However, the Borginian newspaper says it doesn't mention the lyrics of Lami's ballad. Let's present it. I have here a Borginian newspaper, the Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? That's right, it doesn't mention the lyrics. What? What is this all about? I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper. What does this mean? But I don't see how it's possible. I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing the other questioning. Yes, not possible. The subject of the lyrics were not brought up in the police questioning. I read the full report myself. So the lyrics weren't in the newspaper, and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom, in English, no less. The witness will explain herself, or himself. Machi says, yes? It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. You remember? He says he heard of the lyrics from me. What? Is this true, Lami? Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself. Then it looks like our forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. It seems so, yes. Really now? No, no. I was on to something. I know it. I can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today. Mr. Justice, are you finished with the cross-examination? What are you going to do, Apollo? If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else... My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well. Witness? I understand. I guess this is a new statement. It was I who explained the crime followed. Sorry, it was I who explained that the crime followed the song. Switch. Let's see. It was I who explained, huh? It was I who explained that the crime followed the song. Let's hear it again. Oh! There it is. Stop. It was I who explained.
Gotcha!
Lami, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain? Me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained. I see there is a little point in trying to hide anything from you. Lami, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself. Then allow me to answer for you. Lami, you're protecting Machi. Lami, you are protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it. Really, I trust you. But you've lied to us twice, and now you have Lami lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies could cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Witness, is this true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little. Only. What? First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lami? No, I did not. It is quite a surprise. How many secrets is this with this hiding? Last. This is last. Machi, could you tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did not shoot. So, you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those two gunshots, correct? Apparently, the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room, behind desk. Manager, he on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Voice or voices? Was it you and Emma, Paulo? So when Machi went into the dressing room, Lataus had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel high up. I take off. Run away. Run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? Oh, Gavin. He says he saw and ran away. Looks like you're the one that wasn't paying attention. Just because someone was at the scene of a crime, not everything is as it seems. No, he's clearly denying that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say. I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defendant have anything to say to this? He's clammed up, Apollo. Then let us ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. What is this a cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me. That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please tell us the truth for your own sake. No, no more speak. Not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, air forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. It does seem that the defense and the defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant, so we might proceed. Alright, so we're back in the good old lobby. Apollo Eustace. That's justice. But better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Believe. I know shooting. Excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back. Cut. Okay, I'm back. Alright, here we go. Believe. I know shooting. Machi claims Lataus was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it. Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close. Very close. Then I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Lataus already dead And then you heard shots? If that's true, so you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots, and you escaped through the air vent. I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that signed the hall or something. I hear this from magician. Magician? Don't look at me. A magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Lataus. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body, and then he heard the shots. That's one going. That one's going to go over well in court. Not Apollo. You're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what do we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking. No. Well, it was worth the shot. That cocoon. I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Borgenia. I don't want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Borgenia is death. That's right. It's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh well, I guess I will have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. What's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right. And there's only one person that can testify. But, well, there's only one way to find out. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case. Lami. Lami? What are you up to now? I thought we determined that Lami's testimony is insubstantial. There's nothing you can. Lami was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lami dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin, why would anyone be out to kill Lami? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English. Yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think... I do. It was for the same reason who shot Lataus. The killer was afraid of her. Afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. Excuse me. So am I to understand that this is what you are saying? Namely that there is a nugget of truth in Lami's testimony? A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly. If Lami was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lami's testimony once more. Lami, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard two gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Daryan Crescend. Yes. Oops, I hit my headset. Sorry about that. Excuse me. That is correct. At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window... Ooh, was that lightning bolt I just felt? Or I might have been a flash or something from the screen. Anyways, the small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. About that. Yeah, about that. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know that there's something there. There is, it seems, much you don't know. And yet, it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court. Of course, Your Honor. Alright, here we go. What I heard. Excuse me. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them. Lataus and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Excuse me. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have done to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself. Spoiler. Boom. More on that later. Which will get Gavin to finally knock it off. Lami was attacked because of this testimony. What? Trucy? Apollo? You know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I try to think ahead. Very well. Mr. Justice, perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness. Alright, here we go. That's when I heard them, huh? I need some info on that. Alright. Yan Crescent? I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him. The one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There is no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed. Is that why? Of course. Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, she's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. What were they talking about anyways? Lami, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Lataus. The shooter then, Daryan Crescent. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch now. Switch? And the shooters said this to the victim, Lataus? I thought it quite strange myself afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? Sure. It's very vital. Maybe we can add that to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo? Might as well. Sometimes a maybe means a yes. From the small window, I heard a voice say, "Press the switch now." By switch, do you mean this? Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh, yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just so happens I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lami heard was of someone commanding another to press the switch? It is a possibility. Oh, Air Forehead, I'd like to call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lami's dressing room. Not to mention that the Gaviniers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So too have their foreheads cries of a possibility for falling far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh, wait. You like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from that dressing room. And thus I present the headset. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this. Why is that? What is it? Is that some kind of new fangled phone that they have invented while I wasn't looking? No, Your Honor. This is a type of transmitter, a communication device. Communications device? From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually. Therefore talking between band members. We all had one on. Sorry. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal to avoid interference with the audio systems. Their range is quite limited. Lami said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at the cross section diagram of the concert forum. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be. So when Lami heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch? Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where this switch was, there's a little point in debating it. I was sure that if this was the way to go with this. What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. If you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about this switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when we used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information concerning the switch, Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Justice? I've been remiss in not telling this court before. I know what the switch is. Hmm? Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is? And thus we present the igniter. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this. That's that... That what? Is it another one of those new fangled phones? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Seriously, Judge, what phone looks like this anyways? Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote. I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Yow! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected. If my whiskers had caught on fire... Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance, wasn't that a part of the stage show, though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got it in aboard Guinea from Lami. He said the sound was amazing before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Air forehead? Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lami, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It is really simple when you think about it. The Taos and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire. Well, that does seem to make sense, though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it. Really? It seems pretty simple to me. Air forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? His simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night, my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set. That's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Lumi's singing, indeed. Yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes. That must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense. Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise is this, specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. What's this? But Detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act. Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us in his testimony, namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one was shooting. Well, no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote igniter was inside of the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order! 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 But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes? Hey, he's right. Look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look. Why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed. Reversed? Prosecutor Gavin? If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes, the shooting would have come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet Air Forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk a discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way. Order! 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 That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic. Excuse me. Oh, wow. For it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes. A contradiction there, forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lami have heard a voice through it? Oh, I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact. But you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lami's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she can hear it, Apollo? Look, we do what we have. A man saying press the switch, and near the crime scene, we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be a coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that a window was closed. Care to tell us how Lami heard the voice? A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Okay, Justice. You've got one thing to prove and one thing only. Lami heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lami able to hear the voice? The window was open. She has divine hearing. Well, there's only one possible explanation. She was somewhere else. When V random coughing. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, had it been open either. Meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Borginian too. As I was saying, Lami could not have heard the voice through that window, so there can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. What's this? You do amuse me so. And here I thought you had a good sense. And here I thought you and good sense were back on speaking terms. Oh my goodness, what is wrong with my throat? Need more water. Now, I'm afraid you and good sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Air Forehead? Lami clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there is only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Hmm? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? Ah, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lami heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was. Lami heard the voice from here. Where's that vent? I think it's this one. This is the vent she's talking about. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. How about we... Let's right here. This is where Lami heard that voice from. But that's no small window. That's the air vent. What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian unfamiliar with the language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous, and it's ludicrous. So Lami was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice? That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, Air Forehead. Okay. What about it isn't logical? It hardly merits saying. Why wouldn't Lami be in the ventilation system, hiding like a rat? No offense intended to her, of course. That explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lami? You have been hearing to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed, but why should that mean I could not? But why should that mean I could not hear through it, though? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter. The problem here is words. Lami, this small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. What? Order! Order! I will have order! Okay. Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room, and that's where you heard the moment of the crime? Yes, in fact I was. I am sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck are we up there anyway? Primarily, it's because of that illusion they were doing, if you recall. Now, keep in mind that there was, you know what, I'll have them explain it. I believe it's time for another testimony. I'm not sure I I can't. Well, basically because, magicians, a real magician never reveals his secrets, his or her secrets. That's why. But unfortunately, this is a courtroom. She has no choice either way. May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime above the ceiling of that room. Please. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Alright. Above the ceiling. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I had heard that there was a small window there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter. Bound to secrecy? In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold. But you say you were in the middle of your performance. So, did this happen during the second set? I did not witness the crime. You must understand. I only know what I heard. Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail. That's what the cross-examination is for. Jaw, air, forehead. Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. What are you going to do, Apollo? I'm going to find out the truth. She was above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Like I said, there's a reason why some things have to be kept a secret. All right. Let's go. Yes, I was above. No, not that one. Trying to figure this one out. As to why I was there, I cannot say. Let me see. I think I know the right thing. Taped recording of Lami's performances. Check for detail. Let's switch. I'm gonna fast forward here. Alright, right here. Let's go right here where there's a reason why she can't say anything about what happened during the show. This. And I guess I have to go right here. Let's see. Do y'all get it now? A magic trick. That's why. A magic trick. That's why she can't say anything about it. Because there are some magic tricks that should not be explained how they do it. Like, basically, the magician's code can't be broken. They must never reveal the secrets. But unfortunately, it has to be said. Lami, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear, especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's all right here on this video. And I think they're gonna pause right there. Or not. As we can see, Lami was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Though it saddens me to be so realistic. Lami is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time, she moved back to the back of the forum. Apollo, what, Juicy? It's not. It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice. This is all very fascinating, but how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she appears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin? This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed. Uh-huh. He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross section, the diagram again. Here, we can trace a route, through the ceiling. It goes from the stage through the backstage to the rear of the forum. Recall Lami's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. She went from the backstage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of this route above the ceiling. Lami knew of this because of her part in the illusion, but she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now, in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. He said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? I knew about the vanishing act, of course. Yet I had no idea of what the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me? Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, which is why he bound Lamy to secrecy. Well, Lamy, I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you. So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling? I did. Well, that's that, but I'm still a little confused. Why's that, Your Honor? As I said before, there was very a little time for her to go that quickly. 20 seconds tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice. That's a good question. Can the witness explain to this court to the court? I cannot. Very well, Mr. Justice. Yes, it's all up to you. Do your thing. What thing, Your Honor? You need to explain how Lamy was able to teleport like she did, or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater. Why do I get picked on? It's Lamy who isn't going along with the program here. As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail. Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her. Yes, if you would, please. Right. I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo. Oh boy, oh boy. The big illusion. Here we go. I follow the route exactly as I was instructed. There is an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice. 2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens. I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something. As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find a contradiction between what Lamy is saying and what we can plainly see in the video. I figured it out already. I am a magician after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. Alright. Oop, I hit my mic. Sorry about that. Alright, so I'm gonna have to press on something. Let's see. An emergency exit. There we go. No, not this one. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. Didn't the judge say 20 seconds? Let's press on this. 2 minutes? Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you're running. Running? In that cramped dark tunnel above the ceiling? Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. That's true, but... So you're saying that on of a night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes? Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lami disappeared on the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in that video. Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us. Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony. Evidence explaining the discrepancy. Present it. We have a choice. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. It's time to reveal the evidence that we've had for so long we just haven't been able to use it. Well, sort of. The brooch. Lami, do you happen to remember of this brooch? Aha, the brooch. We saw that yesterday, did we not? It was found at the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now. Why? I thought we had already determined that was dropped. So did I. But we hadn't. To take another look at the video. Now, okay, so yeah, at the beginning of the video, she had it on, as you notice. Here, you can see she's wearing the brooch. So she is. Let's look a bit later. As you can see, she doesn't have it. What? The brooch! It's gone! What? Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds. And it takes a full minute to run from the backstage from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only be one explanation. The Lami we see before the vanishing act and the Lami we see after are two different people. What? The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene, and not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lami, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the backstage? And at the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did. Order! Prosecutor Gavin, from your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Judge. I, of course, knew about it. But what? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't holding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right? There was a switch? There was. Just before the Sage's tower rose, Lami was replaced. While we're on this subject, just who was this replacement Lami? Why, the man behind the illusion. Blunt Grammar Yay. It was Grammar Yay? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? The switch happened before the tower rose, so you weren't on the stage. That's right. But this fake Lami is still singing. And she's pretty good. That's true. Come on, Apollo. That's an easy one. They were just playing a recording. The Gaviniers aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fraulein. Oh, you mean I'm wrong? When we play a live show, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lami. Very well. Yes, do tell. Add it to your testimony. I had to keep singing even though while I moved. Let's press on that. You were singing? Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this. Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing, when everywhere I go is the same darkness? But if you were singing while you were walking, that's right. Wouldn't the shooter and the victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. That is right. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of a crime. What state? I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. Speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Ah, that's for the monitoring of the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your setup is coming. Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage, at my request, actually. So, Lami singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lami singing over the speaker? Ingenious! Her voice was hidden by her voice. Lami? I have just remembered something. Do tell. When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes? It startled me, so I stopped singing. What? I forgot the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice. Forehead! That mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing... Huh? That machine, Apollo, the one that breaks it into tracks. Oh, this. I completely forgot about it. Let's take a listen. The song does stop there. It does? I must have missed it. Look at the lyric sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now, listen again. This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake. The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lami's ballad. If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter. Which means the Daryan Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, fascinating. I don't believe I ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet, one problem remains. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? Air Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet, it is entirely based upon Lami's testimony. Yes? Is there a problem with this? Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant? But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear. Until we hear directly from the man himself. The man? You don't mean... Yes. Though he is a friend and band member, the Daryan Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case, as a suspect, to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole, and I'm ready to catch him. Daryan Crescent, get ready for justice. This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin. I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are. Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. Whew, we're still not done yet. I'm gonna take a little break, so I'll be right back. So, cut. Okay, I'm back. Alright. Let the last half of the trial begin. Here we go. We're back at the good old lobby. Oof. Now time for the real culprit to reveal himself soon. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lami's performance? Why she was in that air vent, and that switch, and the flaming guitar. Let me lower the volume here. It's loud on my part. When you link it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Oh, it's right. Ah, Daddy. Mr. Wright. You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that that'd make a cooler entrance than say hiya. Why do I even bother? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that, you see. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Lataus, only shorter and not as well dressed. Oh no. What if you're shot too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, and one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Machi Tobe off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Daryan Crescent. It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the other current court system. Current court system? What did prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption, namely that our diva divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder? There are plenty of ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly seemed sense of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where we found that little device thingy. Right. This. Well, finally, some evidence that makes sense. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, the burn fragments. I think this is probably our last piece of evidence. I'm not sure. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Daryan Crescent's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door just like a magician normally. Uh, what does he want us to do? No, conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess we're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Chusi. Alright, so we're back at the court now. Court number 3. Court is now back in... sorry. Oh dear, what's wrong with my throat? Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescent? In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Daryan was the first a detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand, correct? Oh, I know, Air Forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Daryan Crescent. Name and occupation, please. Daryan Crescent, Detective. Criminal Affairs, Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division for those who don't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gavineers. Maybe you've heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation changed, and Daryan, don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Daryan. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial? Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lami's testimony, if in fact you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in aboard Guinea, and whenever you and wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Conventional methods are out the window, huh? Here goes nothing. Alright, here we go. Daryan's rebuttal. Whew, here we go. Badiva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. Didn't Detective Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? So you claim Lami's testimony was a lie? Hey, Don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid, and she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just because she's blind. You go too far, Daryan. Look, all I'm saying is, you've got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Sky? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. He didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lami's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. Alright, so the part where it shows Detective Sky's name, that's when I'm going to... Right here, didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? Let's present something. Our newly given evidence, the burned fragments. Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was the small device. That's the remote triggered igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. And we have a report that it was something like a firecracker. How did Gavin know about this? What? You think a Detective Sky works for you? I received the report of this morning, before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Daryan as a witness in today's trial, just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So, you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off right when two witnesses came walking by? Huh. That's right. Yan was on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, you get my drift. Why go through the trouble, man? How do I explain this? He may not look it, but Daryan is a gifted detective. Show any weakness, any weakness, and he's sure to find it. He may not look it, partner. Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd. Well, there just before the third set. Something odd? A headset. The kind all of the band members, all the band and staff members were wearing. That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped, but placed. And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were on stage. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Daryan. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Air Forehead. I've got a quick question for you. Huh? For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix, and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We can't say. You've raised the possibility that the shots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That's right. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then continue this cross-examination would be pointless. Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove the crime took place during the second set? Yeah, I think. You better, Apollo. You better know, Apollo. Otherwise, we're through. It can be proven. You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you. Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness, your testimony, if you would. This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof and fast. You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. Alright, so a new statement. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see some proof. I got just the proof. The mixing board. Why see it when we can hear it? It seems there was a clear proof left behind, right here in Lami's song. Her song? What exactly is this device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? Come on, we just used this, and don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lami's voice included. Ho, but what does this prove? According to Lami's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, John? We might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. Ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Daryan? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance, but Lami's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same. Then let's get to analyzing that recording right now. Lami stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. I'll find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Alright, so with the mouse here, I'm gonna click on 2. No, hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna lower all the volumes down here. And then I'm gonna choose 1 and then 2 and play. Oh, y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. Let's rewind here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we're gonna hear this again and hear something, because I know there's like a loud noise. Here we go. There it is. Y'all heard it. Now, without it. Okay, we're gonna repeat that song, but keep the volume 2 open. So, because now we're just hearing the what's it called, I hear it like a lot of times. Anyways, let's just keep going here. I don't hear it. Nope, I don't even hear it at all. No, no. Oh. Okay, now I remember now. So what I'm gonna do here is stop. And just right here, go for 1. Right, there we go. There we go. Let's see if we can hear the gunshot from here. Let's see. There it is. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna present here. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lami's vocals. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. I did hear something faintly there, yes? Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lami's testimony was true. Grr. Sequence. That's what it was called. Sequence. There we go. It was the sequence. The sequence. All right, order. So she was telling the truth about what she heard. It was the other man speaking, not the Taos. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch now. Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescent, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it. But why did we only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't two bullets fired from this weapon? Lami was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. But then, as she passed over the vent, the gun fired again, and Taus's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescent. Once again, I am reminded of something. Our performance that day. Your performance? Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, Air Forehead. What is it with today? Problem after problem. A tongue. My mahog won't start. My guitar case is busted, and my guitar's been burnt to a crisp. And to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off, which is that. Second guitar. It was you, Daryan. I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that. Yeah, well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at? I'm talking about the murder weapon. Taus's 45 caliber hand cannon. Or the Magnum, if you want to call it. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait, you mean his plane was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescent? I am a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm is issued to police officers as a 38 caliber weapon, a much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Taos, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim. So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean? The thought had occurred to me, yes. Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescent, what I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves, rolled up, ready for action, has to say, "Hey, you, attorney." Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on the tape that could be anything, and you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a 45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Crescent. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it. Alright, here we go. Proof of innocence. Here we go. Come on. Why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was Diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? A simple reason, indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Lataus had not been to our country before? According to our records, yes, not even once. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination. Great. Now I need to find a motive. Oh boy, oh boy. You want a reason, huh? You want a reason. Okay then. Let's present this little thing. Oh, we know there's a motive, all right. And I'm holding it right now. The cocoon replica. Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescent, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon? Never seen one that color. It is of variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. Nowhere else. Alright, but what is this a cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing the Taos. Does it? It does. Wait, I mean, I think it does. You don't sound too confident, man. A cocoon. Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you make, well, silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative? For what? Apparently it is most efficacious at treating a disease, though incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia. Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We'll link it, to that matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you could easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact. What? There was an incident several years ago, which some of these go out into the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing. All this led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others. Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Lataus, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on referring to him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Lataus wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country. That what you're saying? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was going to sell it onto to the black market, make myself a pretty penny. Ridiculous! I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoons business. Alright. Cocoon smuggling. Alright. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. I can't sell them on the black market. It's too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm an IA. I know the deal. Indeed, Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Lataus undercover. You kids think of the craziest things, but no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. This is the only... Sorry. This is the only motive I got. He was up to something, and I'm gonna find out what. Oh, let me move the mouse cursor out the way. I forgot I had that thing on screen. Alright, so... Can't sell them, huh? Let's see. Can't sell them, you say? Article about the Chief Justice's son who is inflicted with incuritis, huh? Alright then, let's present this article. Why not choose a less... Oh, come on, I did not skip that. I would. If only there's a history option, that would make things easy. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second I found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? That article, that's about the Chief Justice. A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure, and not a cure for just any a disease. A cure for incuritis. Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband, not even to save his own son's life? But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be in a national scandal. That's a Detective Crescent's insurance. If word got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescent, is this true? First, I'm a murderer. Now, I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why a seller couldn't hope for a better deal? A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof? Well, oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Aboard Guinean customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Let's see. Borginian customs is very thorough. Even everything and everyone gets checked. If you recall, Gavin went to Borginia when when he heard, when he went to that certain restaurant and heard Lami singing, which caught his attention. They meet, and he saw the guitar that he liked. Lami basically gave that guitar to him. Let's present that. Let's see, where is it? Prosecutor Gavin's guitar. Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks. What is it? You became a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Gavin. What was it that you once told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lami. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Borginia? That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in the air pressure and humidity ruined the wood. So we've vacuum packed it in Lami's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me, pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Borginia. The pact was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... Mm-hmm. With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar has some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, Air Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called a sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this in fact. An igniter. Exactly. Consider this if you will. What if the igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached to your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use Picky Prosecutor Gavin's alleged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than who has access? Like a member of the band. Oh. His hair is bouncing. Order! 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 So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Ah, Air Forehead. At last it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle song of ballad, please. First, my keys were stolen, a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see, but things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. And what's that? Mr. Lataus. Ah. Lataus, an undercover agent, was on to something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Lataus tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated, then the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch now. The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then Lataus died, with Lamy there to witness it, too. There's your case. Brilliant, man. Detective Crescent? I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly. For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Daryan. A Republic of Borginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide a cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Borginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamy heard and proves it. It's over. Press the switch now. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with the great accusation comes great responsibility. A bit of a reference there. Make up your answer, on the fly as it were, and you will be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? It pains me to say this, but Machi Tobey. There's only one person who meets all the requirements, and that person is the defendant, Machi Tobey. But, Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client. That's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I am. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Lataus, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is a Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was in fact Lamy? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works at a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamy was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems that Lamy still could have done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar's Serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamy stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked for Lamy's position in the air vent. Well, Crescent, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, a detective? Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns just one more time? Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Too bad. So sad, punk. Punk? First, you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing ranks, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't in what we see, correct, Daryan? Right. It's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. Care to explain too much to us? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee pianist to set off that igniter? That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, we'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, there actually was a way. Recall the piano. Well, I take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? Honestly, even I don't hear it either. The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it. Yeah, how is he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was Diva. Lami? But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. The piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice? If Machito Bay didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, Let's hear your final opinion on this matter. Was the defendant Machito Bay the accomplice? Your answer will reflect everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to press that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machito Bay pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machi pressed that switch? Oh, I can prove it all right. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then, as a prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Air forehead. You're sure about this? Accept it. There's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed the switch? Well, the only way we'll be able to hear it is via this, the mixing board. The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano around the time when the switch was to be pressed, right before the guitar burst into flame. Alright, so it's back to the mixer we go. Except I'm not the one that's using it. I saw something here. Like, there was like a little flash there. I hear a piano being played. But, doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand? One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Huh. What? So you are you some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Well, it's not technically impossible. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Wait, oh, sorry, that's about. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he? Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easiest way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or 2? You can't. I admit, it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No, no way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth. Yes, I said tooth. I know what I said. At last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand, right before the guitar burst into flame. Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and once a section of the song proves it. All right, so let's go. Let's lower the volume to everything except number 2. Okay, and play it. Let's see. Well, I'm not hearing anything, just the sequence. There's the guitar. And I think that's where he had to stop or something. Okay, and then let's press 2 then. Oops. Let's see. Okay, so what's part 2? Okay, so I can't pick these. Let's see, let's go back. Alright, so yeah, because right now I'm not picking the numbers. I'm picking it the track here. Well, let's go right here. Right here to this part right here. I'd present it because I'm a little confused. But if I'm right, let's see. That's the section. I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding. I'll take that to mean there isn't a problem with the section at all. Wait, so what was the odd thing that Gavin heard? The switch pressed in the first half of the second verse, right? I know, I just need to find a place to compare to that. Your Honor, if you give me one more chance, I think I can find it. I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well. Saying yeah, it's basically the same thing. Show us the part that proves it. Machi was definitely playing one hand and one section of the song. Okay, so... Alright, so I can only play these parts right now. Let's see, part 1. So let me get rid of this part here. And play. Thankfully, the penalty bar isn't showing, so I'm free to make as many mistakes as I want. Oh, what was that? Okay, so yeah, this was the only one I can hear. Let's see. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Air Forehead. Realized what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the but a fleeting medley of phrase. Melody phrase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right. Enough of that. Huh? Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar burst into to flames at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to that night in your embrace. Ah, play verse 2 again. There, did you notice that? They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low tones, or notes. You'd have to use two hands to play for sure. What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs. So the two verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Daryan. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. That's what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different? I ask myself. Now ask yourself why Machi changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Order! 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 I believe this ties all of the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What? No comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. Sorry. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over? I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed in you, Air Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes. Don't get me wrong. Your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of the decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But 1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if he did, we already would have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what the daddy said. It won't be easy proving he didn't, especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Daryan Crescent's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn it into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to be pretending with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without a decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry, is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it, too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What? And this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry, and I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Air Forehead, you are accusing this man, Daryan Crescent, of 2 crimes. The murder of Lataus and of the smuggling of a Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on for too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Daryan Crescent. Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Daryan Crescent's plan is call a witness. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh. So what is? Is it true that I couldn't show a decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else? You mean a witness? Mm-hmm. Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Daryan Crescent's guilt? None other than the defendant himself, Machi Tobey. The one person who can prove Daryan Crescent's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobey. Your client? Again? Machi Tobey was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Daryan Crescent could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons the Taos was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find in the burnt out guitar. Aha! Very scientific of you. Thus, if Machi Tobey acknowledges his agreement with Daryan Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Daryan's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death by Borginian law. Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Crescent. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried at our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Borginian cocoon. Yeah, but... But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police, and it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're going to find him guilty of murder here, not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe of a law that doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobey. The cocoons smuggling your entire plan. Machi Tobey knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up a place, a hidden mansion. Real nice. You want a house made of cookies, or no? A house made out of pianos? Come on. Please, don't talk! Daryan, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession. Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes, and you'll talk. You tell this court everything. I didn't want to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from beginning. I knew. Machi. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definitive in the court is evidence. That is the golden rule. However, it has to become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. More on that in the last episode. Anyway, Mr. Machitobe, yes, I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Luthouse, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant Machitobe not guilty. Court is adjourned. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I wonder what'll happen to Machi. Well, he did smuggle a kakuna out of Borginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lami! Mai, is something wrong? I'm sorry, Machi was your partner on stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that now how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lami lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right. She's the landscape painter in sound, after all. I.e. this. Booyah. I will paint the two of you. I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Mommy. I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks? Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Juicy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet, me too. Yep. And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the guitars, Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin, even more dazzling to look at now, but there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them I catch the killer at the end. Oh boy, what a case, but this is nothing compared to the final episode of this game. The final case of this game, Turnabout Succession. This is going to be one of the longest cases ever done. It may even compare to Rise from the Ashes, but who knows? But that's a part for next time. So, until then, everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.